Hey, now we got data bits going to the right
There we
places. Allegedly coming out of nowhere. Ooh.
There we go. Whoop whoop. Arthurian says.
LWDW 409, we're back, and we got the YouTubes. You know what? I finally, eventually, here's what you got to do sometimes. People, you got to go, yeah, all right, fine, I'll do it the right way. It's seldom is the time when you are forced to do it the right way is the opportune time to do it. It's because you're putting it off, and, nothing is more permanent than a temporary fix. So I had to take a break, and I had to punch in everything, and I had to save it correctly in OBS, so we will no longer run into that particular situation.
Nice.
Now what are we going to do? We're going to pop out chats. Yeah, all right. Twitch had a little bit of news before we went live.
Oh.
I don't think it's going to affect anybody in our immediate circles, but they're going to remove the cap. They were going to change the way they were splitting revenue if you made over $100,000 a year.
Oh, okay. Not that it affects us.
Admittedly, I think we're going to be safe on that.
Yeah.
We're going to be skirting in just under that. But yeah. But they're also going to be changing the way you get your money for Amazon Prime subs. They're going to be regional now. So originally, if you dropped an Amazon Prime, somebody had Amazon Prime in, like, let's say Turkey.
Yeah.
Is a good example. You just got, like, whatever the value of the Amazon Prime was. Now it's going to be a regional price. So if somebody gives you Amazon Prime gift sub from Turkey, instead of getting, like, $1.24, whatever it was, you're going to get 6 cents.
Okay.
Nothing against you, Turkey, but I mean, it's going to be regional pricing. For the Amazon Prime gift subs. Hello, everybody. I'm about like 18% of the way there. We're going to be talking about Foxy Debian packages, CAM desktop RAM modules, Take 2, Windows audio plugins on Linux, Raspberry Compute Module 5 is going to show up eventually. Then we're going to dunk a Raspberry Pi in water and watch it scream for over almost 2 years.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Let me get things together. 409. And where do I want to send the live stream? Got so many. Do we send it to Twitch? Sure, maybe. Twitch, let's see. Copy. And no, let's not post that. Jeez. Yeah, you don't want to post the RTMP IP address for your Restream server into Twitch. That will probably make things interesting the rest of the day. There we go. We're going to do that. Now we're going to come over here.
Oh, hi, Basil. How you doing? Yay, Basil.
Let's get that posted. Let's get that posted. And you know what, Blue Sky? I'm not even going to bother with you.
I know. I've been posting on there, but I do, I have some people I followed and a few people followed me, but it's not as busy as like Threads is.
Basil _. Are you related to Basil X?
Yeah, I have a feeling it might be the same person.
Is that because
Maybe.
they have the first name?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Aw, that was sweet. Pipewire retweeted my post. Aren't you sweet, Pipewire? Aw.
Oh, very good.
See, it's another Basil.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse me, Basil, but yeah, we have a Basil X in chat too, so I just assumed, but it's not good to assume. But welcome. Welcome to Linux Gamecast and LWDW.
There we go.
That's cool. We have 2 Basils now.
Where are you at, YouTube chat? I see three people are watching on YouTube. I know you're there. I see you.
Yeah.
You're in the stats dashboard. All right, which I'm about to close, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Mir. Yeah, we're just getting stuff ready for the show, a little midweek, and talk about what's going on, all the fun stuff, anything exciting happening that I missed out on this morning. Like I said, the only thing I saw that, and I didn't even see it, man, it was just playing in the background. Twitch streamer was talking about it. He was like, "Yay, finally!" And I'm like, "Ah, man, real problems with like the revenue split." But yeah, it seems like outside of that, the only thing people have been talking about the past couple of days is Pal World. And I say that, I was talking to Jill in the pre-show. If you're in our Discord right now, you'll notice that like for the past 3 days straight, Joe, Mira, and Nubbin have been in the after shows and playing that game all day and night. It's pretty wild, man. It's pretty wild. I'm having a fun time watching people getting mad about video games in 2024. I'm like, knock yourself out, kids. But I did get a thing in the mail right before the show.
Cool.
What did you get, Vin? People ask. Oh, let me tell you.
Yeah, so...
Let's head over to the forums and take a look. Our latest upcoming project is not this, nay. Vintage audio from 1997 from a company called Echo.
Oh.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Echo Gina.
Sweet.
We're going to be putting that to the test. See if it still knows how to Linux. It's old as Arthurian.
Aw. Yeah, Arthurian, you're getting older.
That thing was made when I was a teenager, so yes, it is quite old. Was I? Yeah, all right, I was still technically a teenager. That's going to be fun to play around with. There's a lot of infrastructure. Echo has a special place for Linux audio, even way back in the day, because even back in the early aughts, 2001, 2002, they were the only like pro audio manufacturer that was willing to work directly with the ALSA kernel maintainers and the ALSA project. Like they came in and they said, "Hey, we need to know," because you look at that card and you're like, that thing's got a Motorola CPU stapled on it. Like it's got built-in DS bit. It does a bunch of advanced things even back in 1997. That's why it's kind of wild when you think about stuff like that. You're like, how far have we fallen? But Echo was good with all of their AudioFire series. They're like, yeah, man, here, you can take a look at how our stuff works so you can make your drivers for Linux. And like, since day one, Echo had Linux support, like full on. Mixer control, everything that you would normally expect. And so I've always wanted to get a hold of something like that. I didn't plan to go that far back in Echo history, but you know what? When you put 99 cents in and that shows up, you might as well test it.
Sweet, yeah. I know the name, but I can't remember in what capacity. It might have been one of the devices used at one of the radio stations I was at, so I recognize that name. Echo.
Yeah, you might have run into a like especially like independent smaller stations might have had something like an Echo.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that being in typically what you're going to run into when like these days it's Symmetrics Jupiters, man. Why? Because Clear Channel.
Yeah.
They're not sound cards. They're just rack DSPs and everything's IP based. Like you don't have anything that you'd normally associate with. But older places like 100.7 here locally that I set up. Did that with an Orban Optimod card. Set that up. Before that, had an Audio Science PCI card.
Oh, okay.
Running a couple of channels on it, and like that got the job done. Audio Science is the name that people outside of broadcast aren't familiar with. Much like Digigram in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Digigram's more like the audio science of it. They've just been around forever doing their thing, and then of course Orban. Orban's been. I even have an Orban rack mount. Orban's went digital like everything else, like Symmetrics.
Yeah, at the college station that I helped run, that most of our equipment, was donations from other radio stations, big names, and then and companies too, including my husband's company donated quite a bit of equipment. And we had a lot of English hardware as well, English audio mixers, and that was interesting because doing all the conversions was a big job.
A couple words. You sound like lower than normal.
Me?
Yes, you. The other person.
Oh. I don't.
I can adjust you on this, and I don't need you messing with anything over there.
Okay, I'm at 100% here.
Okay, if you could just reread me a little thing where I can get it set, we'll be good to go.
Okay. Hello. we have a big show planned for everyone. Oh, and hello, Ralph 9900. What's up? Good to see you as always. Yeah, Ben's increasing my volume on my mic, or my gain on my mic. On his end, I can increase it here, but he's going to go ahead and do that. The only difference I can see, Ven, is last week I was running Wayland, and this week I'm running X Wayland with XFCE. So maybe there's a little difference there. I don't know. With Pipewire. I'm trying to see if any of my other audio settings have changed, and they have not.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's just quieter coming in.
Okay. Do. Yep, I'm running on Wayland now. Well, right now, X Wayland on XFCE, but last week I was running GNOME, and the week before that I was running X Wayland with Window Maker. But this may be a difference with Pipewire as opposed to... But I've been using Pipewire for a while.
Well, if you just... It's not a problem. We do non-destructive recording. I should say I do, and
yeah,
I can fix everything in post. But I want to make sure.
Well, this is good for me to know, because
well, I mean, changing your desktops and window management stuff is bound to happen. In fact,
it is.
Just
okay. I do all the time, but usually you don't hear a difference.
And you could just be being quieter today.
That's true. That is true. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to go take a break. And
all right.
I will be back soon.
All right. Yeah, what you guys are hearing at home is at the opposite end of the processing chain. What you got to worry about with a recording, as long as like Jill's not clipping at any point, or I'm not clipping at any point, it's Gucci. It's Gucci, kids. Like, I can go back and fix everything. What I'm trying to minimize is having to go back and fix everything. Because what we have over here on this monitor is the multi-track recording, and we end up with a dry multi-track, All the DAW does is just record the raw audio. Then it runs everything through the audio filters, the plugins. Then that's what you're going to get. If you're listening to the live stream, you're listening to the podcast, you're watching it on YouTube, wherever you may be. But that's going to be the mixdown. That's going to be all the channels tied together. You could. You could if somebody was a little too low, a little too high. And that's not even really a problem. Because that's being leveled out digitally before it's being recorded towards the end of the chain. You know, there's a LUFS normalizer plugin that I use that does that. But you can still run into some issues. So what you want to avoid is having to go, well, that audio is a little off. What do we got to do? Well, we got to go back over to the DAW, cut this back on, fix that, re-render everything, take that audio, then pull it back into, DaVinci Resolve for me, then stick it together. That's what we want to avoid. Man, it is middle of the week. I got so much stuff I got to get caught up on in here. That's crazy. I've been building websites, man. Building interfacing Linux, and that is just a never-ending thing of like, things you forget. I haven't set up a site for me. I've set up like little sites for friends and family and little businesses, But, like building a site to do what I needed to do has been a 2-week-long, never-ending 4:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, like, oh no, I got to do that. It's been fun, man. It's been fun. I enjoy it, like strangely, in a weird, perverse way, but it's always an adventure. You code it and use a CMS. You use a CMS, man. Use a CMS. I've been using CMSs since there's a little bit of both. Like, yes, I have my own plugins and modules, but since PHP knew command, that's where I got hooked on. I was like, this is the right way to do it. And I was a Drupal monkey for a while. Eventually just moved over to WordPress. Of course, then again, I remember when WordPress could handle about 3, possibly 4 connections before it just lit on fire. Things have gotten better now. But, like, knowing the full stack from setting that up to, tiered caching systems and, Varnish and all the other fun things that you run into, because at the end of the day, you want, like Linux Gamecast, right? Head over to linuxgamecast.com. It's a little dinky site I put together 13 years ago, and it's got a lot of legacy Vin code in it. However, Linux Gamecast happily survived being on a popular Reddit post, Hacker News, hack.org, and /dot on the same day, and it didn't even blink. That's what I expect out of a website I put together, though. And it's not a light side either. Hello, Community T. Community time. I don't know where else I would have went with that, with Community time. But yeah, let's just go with Community time, because I read it correctly the first time. It's just my mouth didn't want to cooperate.
Hi, Monica. I get to see you at scale. So happy.
Here we go. All right, Jill's back, so I'm going to grab some tea, you lovely people, and we are going to come back and talk about something. Why do I have... Wait, where was I going with that? Oh, okay. All right. Fighting off senior moments, kids.
Oh, yeah. I know, 2 more months. I can't believe it. I'm just so excited. My favorite weekend of the year to get together with all my Linux friends and really close Linux friends and our Linux family. Yeah, in fact, what do I have here? I'm using my Scale 11X mug from many moons ago. That was the logo back then. I was just thinking about you the other day, Monica, because I'm going to bring the penguin, and we can take pictures again with it. Because it's finally landed here, and I need a picture of you and me together with the penguin. From Ubuntu Summit. Oh, yeah, Thunderbird. Yeah, we're going to have even more penguin adventure pictures. And I can't wait to give you a big hug and spend some time with you. Oh, boy. I think of you all the time, Monica. Monica lives on the other side of the United States from me, but she's still one of my closest friends. Yeah, we need... I would really like, Monica, me and you could just like take 20, 30 minutes and go have some coffee or a bite to eat or something. Just you and me. It's so hard to do at scale. Oh my God. Because everyone's there you want to see, but it's hard to spend time with just, but let's plan to do that for sure. Maybe like a Thursday, or before or after I set up our booths or something like that. That would be awesome. I don't get to talk to you enough. Okay, Thursday. Okay, we'll plan on that Thursday. I'm gonna tell everyone. I'm like, okay, I get at least a half hour to an hour with Monica. Yeah, Monica, we try and do that at the Linux Chicks booth with just us, us co-organizers, me, Sharon, and Betty, and it very rarely happens. But there were 2 years in a row at scale. I'm like, nope, we got coverage at the booth. We're going to lunch together. Just. But it's so fun and so chaotic. But sometimes you just gotta take off and have fun with a friend. Aw. Yeah, definitely. It's the people. One of my favorite things about Scale is just going to dinner afterwards and having our dead dog parties after a long day of the convention. Yeah, and I'm at Text Digital. We're doing all the interviews for Scale, officially for Scale themselves, of a lot of the speakers, and it's going to be even more insane. It's already hard enough that I'm running 2 booths and I do interviews anyways, but now I'm going to be doing even more interviews, which I am excited and thrilled about. But it's going to be a lot of work. Yeah, I will be even more dead dog. Absolutely. But I will have Michael's help and Ryan as much as he can. But still, it's last year when Michael and I were going around the floor and interviewing everyone, and interviewed you too, Monica. Yay! That turned out great. It's too much for one person to do. That's for sure. Too much for one person. So Scale is my favorite place in the world with all my friends, but it's also a lot of work. But it's a lot of fun work. But it's still work. You're tired, really tired at the end of the day. Actually, I'm already packing for Scale. So equipment and things we need for our booths. Yeah, Monica. So, oh, nice, Katana. Yeah, it's always nice to see you there, Katana, and your kids. Because since I've been on Destination Linux now, close to coming on 4 years, and doing 2 booths, well, me and Steve Husband are responsible for everything that, we bring all the stuff to the booths because we're the only ones here in LA. So it's the car is packed. It's a big job. So I have to organize all our, everything we bring to our booths, and we always have tons of stuff, of course. So I got to do that, and then I got to bring all my own equipment, Yeah, and Steve and I, in fact, we actually didn't stay at a hotel last year just because we didn't have space in the car to take our luggage because it was full of booze stuff. So I think we're gonna have to do the same this year. We're just gonna have to commute, and that's hard. I'd rather stay there, but but we have cats to take care of as well, and I do have a few little medical issues that I have to take care of each morning before I go to scale. Oh, Nathan, yeah, at the Ubuntu booth with George, yeah. In fact, for so many years, I hardly got to say maybe 3 sentences to them because we were all so busy. And finally, this was like, scale over 10 years ago. You know, the Linux chicks, we went over to the Ubuntu booth, local booth, and asked, "You want to come to dinner with us?" And they said yes. So I finally got to talk and with Nathan. So that was nice. Aw, yeah. Yeah, I gotta take care of health stuff too. All gotta stay healthy at scale.
All right, everybody, how we doing? We feeling it?
Yeah, we sure are.
All
Me
right.
and community time, we're talking about scale, and Katana popped in because he's going to be there as usual with his kids, or with 1 or 2.
Katana. You really need to think about the efficacy of exposing your poor children to Linux nerds.
Aw. Yeah. Scale kids are the cutest. Yes, they are. And his son has grown up with us. Yeah, he says, I've exposed them to me, so
Just because
they're already in trouble.
you've provided them some natural immunity doesn't mean...
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Let's go ahead and hop into it. All right.
Thank you, Stan on YouTube. ST Land, thank you for your feedback. We sound good. Okay. I need to increase the font size there, the pop out. There we go. Now I can see it.
I'm still playing Monitor Jingo. It's not a good solution. Really, the only viable solution is to add another monitor over here, and I don't.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to add another one.
We are strictly at me adulting with my hands on my hips going, I don't wanna.
I don't want to. Oh, community time. Monica. Okay. Thank you for popping in and have a good day at work. Thank you, Monica. Love you. Big hugs. Good to see you soon. And we'll make time for each other soon.
All right, everybody. Let's get on. We got tape. We got speed. So here we go. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, Daily Wednesdays, where we sit back, relax, take that mid-week break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux and open source. I'm Vince Stone, joined every week by Joe Bryan. Everybody watching us live on YouTube and Twitch. How you doing, Joe? You doing
I am doing very good.
Doing good. Having a little bit of a conversation about scale before in the pre-show.
Yeah, absolutely. Scale 21X is coming the beginning of March. So I've been preparing. I've already
Looking
started
forward to
it. Yeah.
What you been up to?
Oh boy. So I've actually been playing the freaking beautiful game Genshin Impact almost every night. I haven't really gotten into an open world RPG game in quite some time, but I actually love the characters and the story is good, and the most beautiful of all and the most wonderful of all is the scenery and art. It's just absolutely beautiful, and I love the style. It's beautiful.
You're finally getting addicted to that?
Yeah, I am actually. That, of course, and Trackmania. So.
Yeah, people are. We were talking about the new one, the Runaround boop things, what is it, Power World, that
Oh,
people have
yeah.
been going crazy about right now. It's been fun. I don't really have any interest in the game. It's like Pokemon-esque, but with guns, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch a couple of streams. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, not really my jam, but it's been fun watching the internet, because the internet loves to hate on something if it gets popular, and watching the different things that are like, well, we tried to be outraged by that and it didn't stick. What do we got next? Get in the bag, pick this. All right, let's use this one, and everything's bouncing off of it. It's a silly Pokemon type game where you throw balls and stuff. Like, calm down, internet.
Yeah. I'm sure Jordan will like it too. He loves his Pokemon.
I think Jordan's smart enough to avoid it.
Yeah.
I think he is. I have been playing around here in the studio. I have the test bench in the middle of the floor on that corner over there, because I was working on testing some things for the Linux kernel from a Linux kernel developer last night, because I get those emails now. And I'm like, all right, got that sorted. And I thought to myself, you know what? We need to start playing around with Pipewire, because I said I was going to play around with Pipewire in 2024. And I wanted to do a guide on, if this is the first time you're listening to this like little rant, of how to get your FireWire audio interfaces up and working with Pipewire, or just how feasible that is. And I did some early experiments with that last night, and for the most part, it's all right. It's not too bad. But when it falls apart spectacularly. And you do run into a lot of things that, I'm just going to have to cover in a guide and in a video and stick all that together. Maybe the next week or two. I got a bunch of stuff coming in. If you go check on the forums on Interfacing Linux, there's a thread. Like, I got some audio stuff from 1997 in the mail today. I'm not going to tell you about it. You can go take a look at it yourself and leave your hot comment, because you know what? It's probably going to work on Linux still. But there's a story behind this particular company that I think people will find interesting. Outside of that, not much else going on. Like Jill said, doing Trackmania on Tuesdays and Fridays. That's a fun time. We talked about, on Linux Gamecast, we talked about Steam. Timo Valve, he was like, hey, people, quit using snaps for Steam. They're causing a lot of errors.
Oh,
man.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Getting a lot of bug reports. Use Flatpaks if you're going to use anything. So if you want to listen to that conversation, and definitely if you followed this show, I'm not Team Flatpak. I'm not Team Snap. I'm Team containerized desktop applications. Still don't make any sense to me. So if you want to chime in on that, let me know. That one got a little bit of traction, because I saw some comments show up from the people who normally wouldn't watch the show. I think one of the comments was like, oh, gaming on Linux is like vegan steak or something like that. Okay. That argument might have made sense before the Steam Deck came out.
Yeah, true.
You just look incredibly silly when you say things like that. Because my thought is, like, you really should try the Steam Deck. Valve did a really good job simplifying a modern operating system for people who are not as technically competent.
Yeah.
As you might need to be to run Linux, and like, you never know. Well, let's go ahead and hop right into it this week. I say at 5 minutes, right into it, people, 5 minutes into the show. Because I want to tell you about a new thing from Mozilla. Debian packages. That might sound crazy, but if you're living in this world of snaps, like, wait, what? Yeah. They got a nice little post on the Mozilla blog, kind of outlining all the new hotness that they got going on. A new app repo directly connected to the Firefox release process. That's right. And this is going to be for the stable bits. They've already had one for Firefox testing, and this is 100% built by Mozilla, not 97.3%. So you don't have to worry about third parties or who not. And they claim better performance, so I'm guessing they threw like an O3 tag on it or something for the builds. Who knows? But this is the solution for those of you who have been using, the Moz Team PPA. And especially if you're on the Ubuntu's, because it went snap over there and you're like, I'm just tired of dealing with this. I don't like being a test subject. And here's another thing. It's quite the bonus for my brothers and sisters running a Chromebook.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to install, if you get a Chromebook and you're doing the Christini thing, you no longer have to use a Flatpak to get the latest and greatest. And I think that is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Awesome. It's just so nice to finally be able to use apt with Firefox. I can't tell you. I just installed it in one of my Ubuntu 22.04 rigs and was completely happy with it. And, for years and years, and I think Ven is the same way, he's been running the tar.bz2 build on the Debians.
For the
years.
Latest and greatest. Now, to be fair, Debian has Firefox ESR.
Yeah, they do.
Built into it. So I think that's pretty neat. Threw that in, and if you want to get rid of your snaps, or if you're just running, a Debian or Debian derivative, go ahead and pop that in. Get it, latest and greatest. I've been using their repo on Debian 12 for the nightlies.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's been running great. I've been playing around a lot more with Foxfire than I typically would, and good times. I just wanted to give that a quick mention at the beginning of the show, because you might want to throw it in and play with it yourself. The more people you using different browsers, so we don't live in like this world where everything is Chromium, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thank God for Firefox.
And we're Firefox market share is dangerously low. So if you get a chance, go try it out and play around with it. But Jill's not done with this RAM. For whatever reason, Jill saw Pancake RAM, Flat RAM, and says, "This is my new thing. I'm going to white knight Flat RAM for all of 2024. Dare you say anything negative about it?"
Yes. So actually, last week we talked about the compressed attached memory module, which, will be a new standard of laptop memory, which lays flat horizontally, allowing us users to upgrade the RAM in thin and light laptops. Well, several CAM modules had been seen floating around the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas at several booths, including at the Micron booth, like we talked about last week, where the CAM memory for laptops was spotted. But it turns out that a representative at SK Hynix, who is one of the biggest makers of computer memory, made a comment at CES suggesting that the compression-attached memory would also be introduced to desktop PCs. This is huge. So, motherboard manufacturers are the next step. They're the ones that will have to retool their desktop motherboards and not just their laptop motherboards. Ven and I were talking about this before we started the show, because that's the next big hurdle. You got all these companies making the CAM modules. Now you need the motherboard manufacturers to come on board. And a company called JEDEC that develops open standards for computer hardware and memory announced the CAM2 module for desktop a month ago. And I hadn't heard about that. So when I read this article, I was like, wow, okay. And the CAM2 is actually made for DDR5 memory, but is expected to become mainstream in 2025 with the introduction of DDR6 memory. And, to me, this would welcome a great change for us PC builders to have memory that lays flat for airflow, convenience for small and mini ITX builds, and, greater flexibility in location, like the modern NVMe drives give us, because they're horizontal as well. And it would just be nice also to have the same memory form factor for both laptops and desktops. Wouldn't that be cool?
I like the idea. I like the concept of it. The barrier to friction, when I think about stuff like this, I always have to roll it back to, will the motherboard manufacturers buy into it? Because they're very hesitant. We were just seeing some movement that we talked about, with the backside connectors and adopting the new power supplies. Because that's a very thin margin, if you're making motherboards. But the thing with this, yes, I think there might be a niche market on desktop motherboards in the, mini, micro, ATX, ITX form factors, where
Yeah, absolutely.
Z height is at a premium, because
Mhm.
pancake RAM makes sense in a laptop, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
it does.
it's flat and you don't, the more squishy you can get it. No, more importantly, not only it's replaceable pancakes, instead of like soldering it on. That's what we were talking about.
Yes.
The advantage of last week with the laptop, easy to upgrade. The problem with your pancakes, though, on your desktop is the amount of area that's going to take up on the motherboard itself.
Yeah.
Where your traditional, non-pancake RAM is
Yeah.
sitting in
Vertical
there.
4
Yeah.
channels. Yeah.
But then again, I could see somebody wanting to make, like just because people really enjoy shoving expensive computer parts into little thermal death boxes.
Yeah.
They
But just
do. It's
think
fascinating. They're like, oh, it's cute. And I just think about the poor tortured hardware and they're screaming, begging for a sweet, merciful death.
Well, what's cool also, Van, is for those of you out there who love all the RGB, you'll be able to put even more unicorn vomit in your case because the memory is going to lie flat. So they'll find a way to put the lights around a bigger area.
Well, they might run
Around.
I don't know. Like, I would have to see how they would want to suss it out. Like,
Yeah.
what I want to tell everybody at home, I wouldn't get too excited or too hopeful for ever seeing, like, I understand that of course they want to make the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we're making this. We would love to sell it. I'm not sure we're going to see very wide adoption of this because of just mainly the footprint of it. Everybody wants to make things smaller. So maybe outside of like custom builds, you might see one or two. But don't let that get you down. As long as it shows up on laptops, it's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's where it makes all kind of sense.
Yes.
Up next, we got Windows Audio plugins. You run Wine. You know what Wine is, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wine is not an emulator.
That's at one time.
Yes. For us old school
I think the
Linux users.
Wine project now is like, what does Wine stand for? Like, it doesn't even stand for anything at this point.
Yeah.
It's Wine is just Wine, is I think how they roll with it these days. But and I had to think about this, before the show. I was thinking, traditionally, what do I run Wine with? And I think everybody, if you've used Linux for any amount of time, especially today, if you get a Steam Deck, you use Wine all the time. You just don't realize it. Even going back in, because Wine's about 30 years old, and games pretty much was like everyone's first Wine drug. Like, okay, I want to see if I can get that game running. And for a very long time, and you had no illusion of actually getting the game fully playable, but it was about, hey, I got the title screen to launch. Yes, that's pretty neat. It's come so far since then, so it might be difficult for you to imagine that, but those times were very much real. But on top of that, Wine has been used to run Windows applications just in general, and we tend to forget about stuff like that. I think the only application I'd ever run outside of just a game was, to tell you how long ago this was, I borrowed somebody's Microsoft Office CD to see if it would install with, because I had just purchased a copy of, what is the commercial Wine project that sponsors Wine?
Oh, it has a C in it. It's a C in it, not Crow Team.
Yes, Crow Team.
Not Crow Team. Connect
Crossover. Thank you, Katana.
Crossover. Thank you. It has a C in it.
And it did what it said. It installed and it launched, and I'm like, I'm never going to use Microsoft Office. Not out of it. I just didn't have a need for it. But why I'm talking about all this is we forget that Wine can do something other than play games. And that's what I wanted to cover with this article and guide and video that I made for interfacinglinux.com. Windows Audio plugins on Linux using an application called YaBridge. Because, 30 years of Wine, and it's been bridging the gap between Windows and Linux, running our applications. And like I said, mainly we're using it for games. I think a lot of people in the audience are like, games. But the utility of it goes all the way out to the nasty, psychotic world of audio, real-time audio. And that's where YaBridge comes in to make all of this like crazy, well, relatively easy. If you're familiar with Linux, this is really, really simple. And my guide I put together, it's going to outline getting the latest and greatest version of Wine up and running on your Linux install, getting YaBridge set up, and installing your favorite Windows plugins for your digital audio workstation. Now, this wasn't just something I made for the sake of making it. Because right now, if you're watching the live stream, listening to the podcast, I have a Windows plugin. I cover this in the video, running in Reaper under Linux using YaBridge, because there is not a good declicker plugin on Linux. It doesn't exist. I know someone's going to say, but there's a declicker Nyquist plugin in Audacity. It's trash. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It might be good for taking clicks out of a vinyl because you recorded a vinyl for some reason. It's not good for speech. And Acron Digital makes a restoration suite. It's very not uncheap thing to buy, which I did, but I talked to them, got on the email, like the phone. Yes, who would call anybody these days? I'm like, do I need any type of online registration? Do I need hardware keys? And they're like, no, we're just going to send you a serial. You punch that in. I bought it, and I've been running it for over a year. It's running right now, and it is a real-time algorithm. That's a word, isn't it? That handles any type of mouth clicks that you might get when you're just talking. And it works a treat. And I want to tell everybody how I got that set up and how I use it. But I also want to talk about like the performance differences between running native VSTs, CLAP VST2, VST3, versus running them through Wine, because there's the overhead of Wine and how that could end up causing you problems. And of course, I'm going to show you all the compatibility stuff, like, you know, what works with Bitvig, Reaper, Carla, Qtractor, Renoise, Adore, Xbox. Then, of course, I made a handy equation for everybody, a real handy equation for you at home, because I know the most common question that's come in is, will my audio plugin work? This is how you do it. Just punch that in. For audio listeners, go take a look at it, because I don't want to say that out loud to help you out. And this is something you got to think about. You got to think about that, because, you know, if you're in the business of going door to door, knocking on, like, hey, have you heard about Linux? Let me tell you about Linux. You used to bring up games all the time. Like, hey, man, you can play your games. Valve's already they've solved that problem for you. You don't have to sell gaming on Linux anymore. There's a Steam Deck. It exists. You can buy one at GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're good there. We got to branch out. We got to knock on different types of doors. It's always boggled me that the audio industry never, because as much as they like to lock in and have full control of stuff,
Yeah.
they never locked into Linux. Like, why that has yet to happen. And we've talked about PreSonus even moving, you know, PreSonus Studio One over. Like, we're seeing like little exploratory steps. One of the big things is, if you are into audio production, you have a collection of plugins. You do, and these things are often not cheap. And you can look at it kind of like games at one point, you know. Someone's like, hey, why don't you come, like, I would install Linux, but my games wouldn't run. And, you know, if that person has, you know, $3,000 worth of games that he can no longer play or she can no longer play, that's a problem. Same issue with audio plugins. You can very easily have $2,000-$3,000 worth of audio plugins, and you're like, I'm not giving that up. I need those for work.
Yeah.
So this is a way to get that set up and play around with it. It's all there. Go check it out. Interfacinglinux.com. Quick, to the point, no ads on the site. You know how I do stuff. And of course, there's a forum that I've set up. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to clap right back to you. I've been getting caught up on all the responses with what was the latest one, like doing scrolling text in KDN Live. Yeah, we can figure that out.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's fun, it's fascinating, and it's reliable. And Wine has just been a crazy good project. We talked about it last week, Wine 9.0, and
Yes.
like 9.0 was like a night and day difference with, even when I was doing that video, getting that set up, went from like Wine 8 to Wine 9, like night and day difference. So Excellent.
Awesome.
Everybody involved. Fun times. Now, that's my spiel for audio and Linux. Let's talk about Raspberry Pis, our Slice of Pi section, Compute Module 5.
Woohoo! So, in an interview with Raspberry Pi YouTuber Jeff Gerling, and hello out there, Jeff. He's been in our chat before during our live stream of LWDW, and that was a lot of fun. But anyways, when he was at an interview with Raspberry Pi CEO Eben Upton at CES, and Eben Upton confirmed that
Tom's
not only
Hardware, you did not spend much time on that shot, did you?
Oh, I know. Yeah, and it's very low res. And so Raspberry Pi CEO Eben Upton did confirm that Raspberry Pi 5 production is ramping up like we talked about last week, but there is a new Raspberry Pi Compute Module 5 actually coming soon. And Eben Upton didn't specify time yet, but he just kept saying, he had told Jeff Gerling it was coming soon. And the Raspberry Pi company has actually released guidance on its website already for people and companies to make products for the new Compute Module 5. And like the Compute Module 4, the Compute Module 5 will have the same dual connectors, which is really very good. And I am actually hoping that the CM5 will come in as many variations as the CM4. They had various options from 1 to 8 gigabytes and different storage sizes. So I'm sure that's in the works, and that takes a bit of time to get that all together. But I have a feeling we're going to see that within the next year.
You know what would make the Raspberry Pi really amazing?
What? Ben?
If you could buy it.
Yeah. Raspberry Pi 5 is coming.
Unlike the Raspberry Pi Compute Module 4.
Yeah.
Which is made out of unobtainium. Like, you can't. I've been trying to get one for a long time. Like, I've given up. I'm like, whatever. So, yeah, good news. We'll see when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more interested in nano coatings, though.
Yes, this is cool. Speaking of Raspberry Pi.
Nano coatings, son. A Pi running underwater at CES in Las Vegas. Why would you do such a thing to a poor Raspberry Pi? Well, you know what? I'm not going to fault him for it. This is from HZO. They decided to show off their special coatings. They doused a Pi with, their mystery fluid and just gave it the donk. Here's this thing sitting in a tank, running, powered up with both USB-C and HDMI, plugged in for 525 days.
That's awesome.
Outside of just like, okay, that's cool. There's practical purposes for aerospace engineering and like very harsh environments with these coatings because, they protect against moisture and dust and apparently, submersion for 500 days, which is kind of neat. Or, if you're like me and you've always had a dream of filling an entire swimming pool with Raspberry Pis for nefarious reasons, you might be able to pull it off. Now, this was just kind of a tech demo for them. This is not, you're not going to be able to buy H2O away from them. This is like big boy, super expensive, stuff they're showing up like, hey, we can code everything like this. And I'm sure some people who've dropped their mobile phones in water are like, why isn't this on all my electronics, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was really, really happy when you posted this in the show notes, Ben, because I had read an article recently about the HZO company running the Raspberry Pi underwater for such a long time, but I didn't know it was on display at CES. So this is the first time I'd seen a picture of it at the Consumer Electronics Show.
I'm always, you get my interest anytime you apply a coating with plasma.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's do that. It's better than like, what was it, like fluorine or whatever the, non-conductive done mineral oil. Like, do not do a mineral oil PC build. You'll do it once and like it's neat. It does work, but you gotta just anything that you do that build with and just be prepared to throw it away.
Yeah.
Because you'll never get all the mineral oil off. Trust me, I know this firsthand. But with a Raspberry Pi, that's cool. Like, if you wanted to spray something like 500 days, if you want to dunk stuff, like, that's cool. Thought we'd give it a mention. All right.
That's really cool.
Before we get out of here, I don't know if we, I gave him a shout out last week. I don't even have the last week's show notes. So did we give Beckett a mention last week?
Yes, we did.
We did. All right. See,
yeah.
We didn't forget. I was just making double sure. But I didn't
and I saw him in chat on Discord.
I didn't have it in the credits last week. That's what it was. I got you in the credits this week, my man. All right. If speaking of credits and Discord and all that, if you want to come join our little team, head over to linuxgamecast.com. We got a support button. You can join us on Patreon. If you become a patron, you get the pre-show, post-show. You get this. We give you a commercial-free video, high-quality video version of this show available just for you. Access to our Discord and live and uncut, week early in podcast format if you want to listen to the entire live stream, and a couple other things, early access to videos and stuff we're working on. We got Amazon wish list. Jordan has one, Jill has one, Pedro's got one, I got one for the studio. We even have a merch store along with an Amazon storefront if you're curious about every single thing in the studio, making it go burr. It's there. And of course, humble affiliate bundles. But we do.
Yes.
Thank you. And pop in, say hi, catch us live, and all the other fun things that go on. There we go. We did good. 28 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, awesome, Ben. Now we have all our beautiful patrons to thank, including our Theron, our advisor in chat right now. And we have our executive producers, Barbrandt, Scott M, Atomic, our Chicago Kicks people, Empty, Blasmia, and our Sea Monsters, Hakeem, David, Darkwing System Team, Mark, Diaz, and Joe. And our Death Notes, Nova, Back, Dodger, I can't read faster, and our Chairlings. And also in chat right now, we have Don M, we have Scott Michaud. So many.
All right, beautiful people. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
We got Mr. Beastwick in chat too. And we had community time in our pre-shows. And yay! Whoop, whoop, whoop.
All right.
And of course, my Steve husband.
Pre-show, after show. We didn't get a little bit in the after show. Yeah. Does anybody, anything happen while we were doing that? Got a couple of minutes.
Let's see if there's some news. Let's see.
Oh, we got new NVIDIA drivers.
Ooh, nice.
I'm interested.
Yeah, our Theron posted FFmpeg added AV1 support for VAPI. Awesome.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of OBS, Linux texture encoding. Oh, man. All right, I got to get in there. Let's see. What do we got going on here? All right. Let's take a look at what's in these. Oh, all right. That's a big chunky driver update.
Ooh, nice.
NVIDIA, a bunch of Wayland stuff in here. NVIDIA installer. You guys want to take a look? Beta quality support for the G workstation kernel modules. What else? Jeez.
Ooh, there's lots.
Lots and lots and lots.
Yeah.
Hey. Fixes for video games.
Oh, yay! Halo Infinite.
Horizon Zero Dawn. The Metro Exodus. Forza. VR display stuff. 8-bit. Right. Cool.
That'll be a good story for Saturday night.
Well, Beastwick, I mean, that's what they're playing in the after shows, and you need to join in. You got to get your FOMO going on.
Yeah. Hell World.
I watched somebody this morning, Jeff somebody, and he's like, well, you know what, let's try this out. And he played it for about 30 minutes. He was like, yeah, this game's dumb, I don't like it. And I'm like, all right. That's cool. You know, like, I get that. I get that. Right. Cool. Well, mineral oil was the cheap way to do submersive cooling back in the day. So everybody tried it, but the biggest problem with like mineral oil is like, you know, you don't want to have your components in there, like your hard drives. We didn't have NVMEs at the time, and mineral oil, you wouldn't think it, but ribbon cables and SATA cables too have a weird wicking effect about sucking the mineral oil up and into the connector of the drive.
Oh boy.
Everything's gunked up. Everything. And like, you'll never get it all off your, you know, because you still want to put like fans in there to try to move the sludge around if you can. And all of your RAM and like motherboard is just, you'll never get it all out. It's nasty. Like I said, if you ever do mineral oil to cool something, make sure it's a one-time application. Like that is just going to be in there forever. And when I'm done with it, the whole thing's going to go away. It's not fun.
Doesn't sound like it.
I'm sure at an industrial scale, it's probably a better experience, Scott. But at home with a couple bottles of mineral oil and a fish tank, not so great. Yeah. The better solution for that is just to buy used, what is it? Flora. What is the non-conductive coolant? It's not electrocool. Chill. It's not fluorine. I forget what it's 3M had a name for it. Fluorinert. Yes, that's what you want.
Is it fluoride or
Fluorinert from 3M. Yeah. What you want to do is you don't want to buy that stuff because it is outrageously expensive. What you do is you buy it used. Because that is used in data centers. And you can find FC40 that has been cycled out and they put new stuff in. And you can get that at semi-affordable prices to play around, you know, cheap enough where you can buy a couple of jugs and play around with it at home. Instead of spending a couple of $1,000s for a bottle.
Yeah.
Or something, be like, meh, oh. Because Fluorinert, it evaporates like super quick too. Like it needs to be like pretty sealed. How much is a 14-pound can? Now I'm curious. The page doesn't load. Boo. Do we have shopping? Let's see, how much for 175 milliliters? $150. That's about right. 24 for, I don't even know what that's supposed to be. Yeah, we got a bunch of things going on. All right. Jill, what you got going on the rest of the week?
Oh, joy. It's pretty low-key this week. Do I have any plans? Oh, this weekend's Disneyland. But we do that every few weeks anyways. But that's going to be fun. So.
All right.
We're doing it on Sunday this time, which I really love Sundays because it's a lot quieter because we go later and people leave Disneyland early on Sunday, so it's real quiet, which is really nice. Steve Husband said, no! We'll be going for dinner because they have their new Lunar New Year festival, which is awesome. And you get lots of really good Asian food, Chinese food, Vietnamese, Japanese. It's really good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. It is actually going to be fun. Actually, we have just Steve Husband and I haven't gone to Disneyland ourselves alone in a while, which has been nice because we've been going with friends and family. But it's the food is incredible. So we'll have some good food and then from all the wonderful international food carts and then go on a couple rides and have fun.
Good times.
I do love having a pass because we don't have to do the whole day slog, at Disneyland. We can actually enjoy it, just go for dinner for a couple hours and come home. It's really, really nice to do Disneyland that way. And what ends up happening is the crowds don't bother you anymore because you're not in a hurry to get on any ride or
you don't have to hang out with the riffraff.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know all the secret spots that are quieter and everything. We've learned it so well. This has become so easy now. Yeah, don't load up on kimchi and then go on teacups. Speaking of which, Steve Husband still hasn't been on the teacups because he gets sick on such things. But I told him he could go on. I promised to him I won't spin it. Because you can go on without spinning them.
I mean, Steve, you can just go on it by yourself, man.
Yeah, you can. But he's been so great. He's going on rides he never thought he would and enjoying them. So he really likes going on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, the railroad roller coaster. So
hey, Steve, what's the ride Joe won't go on?
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time choosing because I've been on all of them. even the 70-mile-an-hour coaster at DCA. I've been on every ride there. I don't like what we call the death wheel. That's a Ferris wheel. It's one of the tallest actually in the world. And it has two different cars. It has just classic Ferris wheel cars that move slowly going all the way around. Then it has the ones that swing while you're going around. And as you go around, they swing more and more depending on what part of the curve you're on. And that's terrifying because you're like, 400 something foot up. And I've done it, but never again. Steven won't do that either, so. Good picture, honey.
I don't know. I wish they made Ferris wheels like fast.
Do you know a lot of the little funfair Ferris wheels are very fast? They're actually quite fast. They can make you sick because they go fast enough. But then there are ones then that where you go upside down as you're going around the wheel. In fact, that kind of ride, it's called an Enterprise. There's one of my favorite rides. It's called an Enterprise. Just happens to be the name of it, not the Starship Enterprise. But anyways, that ride it is like a Ferris wheel, but it spins like at 70 miles an hour, and I just love it. It's one of my favorite rides. And you get all the G-forces going around. It's so cool. Yeah, so you would like an Enterprise, Ben?
Maybe. I mean, I grew up, I was about 20 minutes away from the London Eye.
Oh, okay.
So that was just like a casual,
nice and slow. Yeah.
Just pop over there. Which, I mean, it's like, what was that thing, dude? It was like 130 something meters. So like, 450 feet.
Yeah.
But it was all touristy and stuff. Like, you go
yeah.
and like check it out. But
They're
it was
big-
so slow.
big
It's so
pods.
boring. Like you take a lap on it, and you're like, I'm ready to get off. But I have to.
Yeah. There's one in Vegas that's even taller, and that one they have weddings on the cars because they can hold 20 to 30 people.
Yeah, that's why you definitely want to hit it at night because you get
Yeah.
because it was
The
they're
views.
observatory carts. Like you get in, they're panoramic and like they're no
they're
fun
beautiful.
filled with people.
Yeah, it's not a thrill ride. It's just kind of an observation deck.
It's like I went up and down really slowly. All right, neat. All right, everybody. They're going to wrap it up. I want to get this knocked out and start hammering on Pipewire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I got a lot of information to absorb and figure out and dig through and complain about.
Mm.
We'll find some interesting things, though. Guaranteed. Cool, everybody. It's fun. Thanks for watching, hanging out with us, and Jordan will be back tomorrow with something. I have no idea what. He'll let you know. Usually about 7:30. I think he's playing Borderlands, or it was last week.
Oh, Tiny Tina's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. The Borderlands light game.
If you want to jump in and do that, just reply him in our Discord and just be like, Psst, yo, like he's usually good about like whatever, come in, hop in. And Friday we're going to be back for Trackmania. If you want all that, again, all the launch codes are in our Discord. Trackmania is in channel, and we'll be back 7:30 Eastern. Mm-hmm. So it's on the Twitch schedule. You just go look at the Twitch schedule and convert it to your time bits. And everybody's welcome to come join in. We got a private server that's up and running. We picked our tracks, started vote on tracks, I guess I should say, last night. And,
I voted out for all of them because I liked them all.
It's fun. We take 14 tracks, we go through it, and it just runs 24/7 until the end of the week. And everybody, when you get a chance, pop in, play a couple, find the one that you like. We pick the top 10. Friday, we do some points, rounds, and it's just a good time. It's a good excuse to get together and hang out. So, yeah, and Saturday, of course, Linux Gamecast Weekly. We'll be back for another one. We'll see if we can pick another spicy topic.
Yeah.
that gets the internet upset. That's always a good one. We do get some stuff to talk about on Saturday, up to and including another Black Mesa remake.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a big show this Saturday.
All right, everyone.
Bye, everyone. And thank you for joining us, Basil _ and Squinty Dork. I like that name.